The testes, as I mentioned before, are located in the scrotal sacs or the scrotum. So we can talk about the, let's get rid of that. The scrotum. And the scrotum is divided into two. And so the two testes sit within each sac of the scrotum. When we look at the scrotum, remember that the function of that is to regulate the temperature at which sperm are produced. And so there's a couple of mechanisms by which we have temperature regulation. And so, for example, we have a couple of muscles. So we have the cremaster muscles. These are skeletal muscles. The cremaster muscle actually acts to elevate the testes when it contracts. So for example, if males get really cold, if they're in cold water, their testes move up towards their body in order to get warm. And then when they're hot, the testes will hang low. So that is the function of the cremaster muscle. We also have a smooth muscle, which is called the dartus muscle. And the dartus muscle is smooth muscle. And it is actually in the skin or underneath the skin. And it actually causes the wrinkling of the skin. So again, when the testes is cold, that skin will wrinkle, the testes will be pulled up to the body cavity, and hopefully the temperature will be elevated. Another function of the temperature regulation has to do with what is called the pampiniform venous plexus. So plexus actually means a network, and venous means that it is blood that is going back to the body. And this actually surrounds the testicular arteries. So the testicular arteries are carrying blood to the testicles, and that blood is warm. And so this actually allows for the testicular arteries to cool because some of the heat will dissipate as it moves into the venous circulation. So this actually helps to dissipate the heat of the heat that is the blood coming in. So this cools the blood in the arteries. Now, the arteries, as well as other vessels, travel via a structure that is referred to as the spermatic cord. So the spermatic cord includes nerves, blood vessels, even lymphatic vessels, vessels, and also that ductus deferens. Okay, so when we look at the testes, so this is where the scrotal sacs, when we look at the testes themselves have in them what are referred to as seminiferous tubules. And these tubules are kind of packaged in there in segments that are called lobules, but the tubule is actually continuous, and it is within the center of the tubule that we get the sperm dividing and being the cells dividing and actually producing the sperm. So this is where sperm are produced. So if I were to look at a cross section of a seminiferous tubule, this would be my lumen. So that is the space. This is a cross section. When I look at cells on the outside of this cross section of this tubule, those cells are going to be diploid, and they are going to start to undergo meiosis. We're going to talk about that in more detail later, but they're going to undergo meiosis and they're going to produce sperm or haploid cells. So we have diploid cells here that are going to undergo cell division. Dividing, and I didn't make up this very well, but so you can see that cell division, and these are going to be the haploid cells. So it actually occurs, interestingly, in the direction so that the sperm are going to be ended up in the lumen, in the space of the seminiferous tubules. So let's look at these seminiferous tubules within the testes. So here we have the seminiferous tubules right here. They are in little lobules. They are surrounded by tunics. The tunic is connective tissue. We also have what is called the rete testes. That is just where the sperm travel before they go to the epididymis. When we look at the epididymis, it is continuous with the ductus deferens. And then right here, this would be my piniform plexus. And you can see that we also have testicular arteries and we have veins. And the plexus is what helps to cool the blood that is coming into the testes. And then we have this whole structure is what is referred to as the spermatic cord. So notice that the ductus deferens is just running, and sometimes that's referred to as the vas deferens, is just running through the spermatic cord. So when people get a vasectomy, and usually those goes together, that is a cutting of the vas or the ductus deferens. So you cut the ductus deferens. But all of the other structures remain in place. And so the sperm just essentially just get reabsorbed because this ductus deferens is going to be cut. And there's going to be no way that the sperm could then travel up into the body cavity to pick up nutrients and then out through the penis. However, males with vasectomies can still ejaculate because the ejaculate includes sperm, but it has all of the other stuff that is added to the sperm by the accessory glands. We can also look at the two different types of muscle. So here's a diagram. This shows the cremaster muscle right here. It is skeletal muscle. And then we have the muscle, which is the dartus muscle, which is in your superficial fascia, which allows for a wrinkling of the scrotal skin. This also has that piniform plexus, as well as the testicular artery labeled.